63-year-old Reuben Weeks had health troubles when he was arrested and needed a wheelchair, but his cause of death is still being determined. Sheriff Mike Lee says no foul play is suspected. May was 17 and a student at Leake Academy and a resident of Forest when she went missing. Her body was found 3 weeks later in Bolton. Sentencing is this week for former Canton Municipal Utilities engineer Rudy Warnock, convicted on federal bribery charges. And his lawyers have a much different viewpoint on what they believe his punishment should be. They're saying 2 years max. Meanwhile, the feds are recommending 15 years and $1 million in fines and paybacks. The person who died in a Friday wreck on Highway 35 North in Natale County has been ID'd as 34-year-old Marty Gaston of Louisville. That wreck happened about 10:20 p.m. near the intersection with Atala Road 3041. Gaston was thrown out of the car and was barely breathing by the time an ambulance got there and died at the hospital in Kosciuszko. It is believed that a deer ran out and caused that wreck. Mississippi State is going to a bowl game. The Bulldogs play in the Duke's Mayo Bowl at 7 o'clock January 2nd at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Number 6 Ole Miss gets a first-round home playoff game against number 11 Tulane December 20th. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WIAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
Happy Monday. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome into the Lindsay Beckham Show. We are coming to you live from the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi Studios here in Flora, Mississippi at the Cotton Exchange Plaza. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Everybody, all the football fans should be happy. We've got Ole Miss in the playoffs. We've got State going to a bowl game. I think the Duke's Mayonnaise bowl game. So all the football fans are good. Well, I guess if you've gotten over the stabbing in the back that Lane Kiffin did. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. I was sad to miss Friday, especially because there was breaking news that I'm super excited about. Obviously, we're going to talk about that today. I hated that I wasn't here as that was happening live and wasn't able to talk about it, but we are going to talk about it today. But you know, mom duty called, and the changing of the weather always means that kids are going to get sick, and we're going to talk about that today as well. But I was home with my sick babies. They still are a little under the weather. Can't shake this cough. I guess that's just par for the course, especially when you're at school and around a bunch of other little kids and swapping germs all day long. Every time I think about that and I think about kids in school and all the germs that they bring to each other, I go back to thinking about the days of the mask mandates and how disgusting the insides of those masks must have been that our children were putting on their faces and breathing in because they were forced to do so in order to go to school. Also, the schools and the administrations and the school boards did not seem to mind kids missing school back in those days, because if you just talk to your sister on the phone pretty much, and her ex-husband's grandmother's father's brother had tested positive for COVID, the school was going to make you keep your kid home. And that was fine. Completely and totally fine. It didn't matter if kids missed school. No big deal. We've got online learning. They've got devices. They can do it at home. My, how has that changed today? Today, you can't miss school. They make such a big deal out of being absent. Look, first of all, I have a kindergartner. Kindergartners are not even required to attend kindergarten in the state of Mississippi, by the way. A lot of people don't know that. It is not mandated, it is not required. But I'll tell you what, the truancy officer is certainly earning her paycheck these days. They have seriously cracked down so hard on your kids being absent from school. So last week, the kids had a pajama day. Now, I got a note sent home in my kids' folders a few weeks ago talking about how November was going to be the month that they wanted everyone to have perfect attendance. You must come to school every single day in November. Well, see, I understand what they're doing. Thankfully, I'm wide awake when it comes to the public education system and how it works, how things are run. And what I know is that the state will send someone into the public schools on a random day that no one knows about. Nobody knows what day it's going to be. And they are going to count how many children are there. There's a head count. Now, that head count is important because in the public school system, each child gets a certain dollar amount. I think the base amount at this point is around $7,000, maybe between 6 and 7, closer to 7, I do believe. Now, that amount can go up if the child has special needs or if you live in a certain district. But this day happens in October or November. So what my kids' school understood was that it had not happened yet in October. So what we're going to do is we are going to put an incentive in place. We're going to send home a note to all the parents. We're going to make sure that kids show up every single day in November, come hell or high water. Doesn't matter if you're sick. Doesn't matter if you had traveling plans. It doesn't matter if for some unknown reason you just can't get your kid to school that day. They got to be there every day in November because they want those dollars for every single head. The more kids we have in school on the day the state shows up to count, the more money we are going to get. So last week, my kids had a pajama day, right? And, they had sent home this note saying that there was an incentive. And if you didn't miss a single day in the month of November, that you would get to attend some sort of party and wear your pajamas. And I thought to myself, surely they are not going to actually make a kid sit in a classroom while all his or her friends go to some party just because they were sick a day in November and had to miss school. Like I'm thinking to myself, they're just putting this out there because they're doing everything they can to make parents try their hardest to get their kids to school every single day in November because they understand this count's going to happen at some point in November. Well, I'll just be damned. Last week, they actually did take the kids who did not miss a single day in November to the gym, gave them snacks, let them watch a Christmas movie, while the others had to remain back in a classroom doing schoolwork. Now, I think eventually they did turn a movie on for them, but it definitely wasn't the fun party in the gym that they had to watch all of their friends go to. Just because they happened to be sick one day in November. Look, I'm going to tell you, I am okay if my kids miss school. It is not my top priority that they have perfect attendance. Number 1, like I said, I have a kindergartner. Kindergarten's not even required in the state of Mississippi. Number 2, my kids are well above where they should be or where they are tracked to be. So they're not behind. They're doing very well. They're praised by their teachers for good behavior and academics. But because they didn't show up to school one day in November, they were punished, left out, had to sit there doing schoolwork while watching other kids go enjoy some sort of party with snacks and Christmas movies and all the fun things. I cannot tell you how much that infuriates me as a mom. Now, yes, I understand life is not fair. Everything is not always going to be rainbows and unicorns, and children have to learn how to live with disappointment. They have to learn how to handle life. They have to learn life is not fair. Sometimes you just got to put your big girl panties on and deal with it. I get it. I understand that I cannot shield my children from everything. I cannot protect them from every single emotion. I can't keep them from being sad or angry or feeling all the things that we as adult humans feel as well. I get it. But these are 6 and 8-year-olds that I'm raising that are getting in the car sad because they didn't get to experience this party. And I'm just going to tell you, I think it's disgusting. I think how evil of an administration do we have here that is okay with doing that to children, to innocent children who didn't have a say-so in this? They are not capable of making the decision whether they go to school or not. That's what God entrusted children to parents for, right? That's why we have parents raising children, because they make those calls, they make those decisions, because children can't. Morgan and I have talked about this a little bit because they did this back at the beginning of the year. You know, kids aren't even in school a week these days before they are sending home some sort of fundraiser that they want you to participate in. And I'm just going to tell you, first of all, I don't have much family. My only sibling was murdered in 2009. My husband died in 2016. My dad in 2018. My grandparents, I have one remaining grandparent. My mom lives out of town. She takes care of my one remaining grandparent. I have one aunt, one uncle left in this world. There's just not a lot of family. So when a fundraiser comes home, there's not a lot of people that my kids can call up to buy some raffle tickets. And I certainly can't afford $250 per child to send back to the school. And I dang sure don't have I work 3 jobs. I dang sure don't have the time to take my kids out door to door to sell raffle tickets for the school, which is funded by tax dollars, by the way. Yet, if you didn't sell 16 raffle tickets, you didn't get to go to the big incentive party. And so the kids have to pull up to the school on the day of the incentive party and see these huge bounce houses outside the front of the school, knowing that they're not going to get to enjoy the fun that their friends are going to get to have. What kind of sick person came up with this incentive crap? Whew, it gets all over me. I think it's evil. I think it is mean. I think it's disgusting. And I think adults should know better. We teach our children to be inclusive. We teach our children not to be bullies. Well, what are you doing? Because to me, that's pretty much bullying a child who doesn't understand. It's not up to them to buy these raffle tickets. It's not up to them to decide how they're going to be able to go out and sell these raffle tickets to raise money for a school that's funded by tax dollars, by the way. It's not up to them to decide if they're too sick to go to school. I have a special needs 8-year-old, and I'll tell you what, he doesn't sleep well. There are nights that he keeps everyone in my house awake, and I'm not going to send my kids to school on no sleep to be miserable all day. I'm just not going to do it. There are some days that we stay home because nobody has slept. That is my reality. And guess what? I get to make those decisions because I'm the mom. I'm pretty furious about this situation with these incentive parties at these schools. Somebody really needs to have a come to Jesus talk with the administration at these schools that are allowing this to happen. It's not okay. I really wanted to turn my car around and go back in that school the other day when my kids got in the car. Sad that they didn't get to go to the party, but I decided Sean probably wouldn't be very happy with me if he got a phone call to come bail me out of jail, so I just went home, vented about it to my 16-year-old. But I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear you guys. What are your opinions on this? Do you think that's okay for schools? 601-879-0002 is the number to call into the station. 601-879-4648 is our text line. We got to take a break. Y'all stay with us. There's so much more to talk about today. We will be right back here on The Lindsay Beckham Show. We will be right back here on The Lindsay Beckham Show.
.1039 WYAB.
Hey there, pizza lovers. It's time for family, fun, and mouth-watering moments. Gift the taste of Johnny's Pizza House. Our gift cards are the ideal treat for those you love. Warm their hearts and their bellies this holiday season. Whether it's a family gathering or just a cozy winter evening, Johnny's Pizza House is always a hit. And who knows, they might even invite you over for a slice. Visit johnnysph.com/gift cards today. Gift memories, gift joy, gift Johnny's. Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice of joy.
Pure Air Consultants offers services on your heating and cooling system. It's time to get your heating system serviced. We offer replacement, service, maintenance agreements. It's important because if you have a gas heating system, it can produce carbon monoxide. So you want to make sure you have your system serviced and cleaned to protect your family. You want to make sure your system is safe to run. You can find us on our website at mypureairconsultants.com, mypureairconsultants.com.
Nick Bain served Mississippi for over a decade in the State House. During that time, he fought for our children by protecting them against explicit materials pushed by the woke agenda. He protected taxpayers by streamlining government and helped create policies that have made Mississippi better. Nick and his team at Bain Bowen will use the same tenacity in helping you with all your legal matters. Call them today at 601-953-2994. Find Nick online at bainbowen.com. That's BAIN Bowen.com.
Where do you stand in the pro-life community? If you're passionate about protecting the sanctity of life from fertilization to natural death, please join us at Pro-Life Mississippi as we make a difference and save lives right here in our own state. Pro-Life Mississippi is a community of individuals dedicated to equipping others to value all human life, including the preborn, those with disabilities, and the elderly. Our mission is support, education, and advocacy for the preborn, their families, and other vulnerable children and adults. If you're just starting your pro-life journey or you have been an advocate of life for many years, Pro-Life Mississippi needs your voice and talents to save lives in Mississippi. Together, we can make a difference in building a stronger pro-life Mississippi. Learn more about us at prolifems.org. That's prolifems.org. Be part of the community that celebrates each and every human life.
What are people saying about Tom's Fried Pies in Richland? Tom's Fried Pies. And I made the mistake. I ordered one pie. I figured, you know what? I'll try Tex-Mex. It was so good. Man, second go round, I ate the pecan pie. You will need a meat pie and a dessert one. Get both because they are off the hook.
I went to Tom's Fried Pies today, and I'm going back. I tried the taco one, really good. When I go back, I'll bring some home.
Tom'sFriedPies.com.
Come see us at Planter Supply in Bentonia for precise fertilizer and seed recommendations from our experts Mike Bates and Walt Shepard. They have over 50 years of combined experience in the agronomic industry, and their knowledge and experience ensures your food plot will be the best that it can be. We carry a full line of summer, fall, and winter food plot seed and deliver it straight to your field in our fertilizer spreaders for your convenience. Come see us at Planter Supply in downtown Bentonia or give us a call at 662-755-8782.
I am Wayne Lloyd, Delta Farm Services, LLC. We do all types of dirt work, excavation, dozer work, land leveling. We do building pads, commercial ponds and lakes, residential ponds and lakes, anything with dirt work. Delta Farm Services, LLC.
Google Delta Farm Services, LLC, or find them on Facebook. Delta Farm Services, LLC.
We are back here on the Lindsay Beckham Show. There are lots of other topics, several other topics I want to hit today, but I'm just not quite done with this one yet. We're talking about these incentive parties that are being used by schools, elementary schools even, in order to have your children sell raffle tickets or participate in fundraisers, or even just to show up for a full month when they know heads are going to be counted, which is how they decide how much money each school gets. If we resort to using education as punishment, do you really think that that is going to make a child excited about learning, about school? Because I think it's going to do the opposite. It's going to make them despise school. We got a text on the text line. 601-879-4648 is the text line. 601-879-0002 is the number to call in today. This unknown texter says, I agree 100%. The school attendance guidelines are ridiculous. I hate having to plan vacations just around 2 times of the year, summer or Christmas. Why should it matter if they are absent, if they are passing? Absolutely. I agree completely. My kindergartner has been reading since he was 3. I mean, pretty much what you learn to do in kindergarten is to read. I don't think he is going to resort to a life of crime if he's not at school every day for kindergarten. It's outrageous. Again, nobody minded children missing school during COVID. It didn't matter then. I don't understand what this big push has been over the last few years about attendance. But I think it is extremely unfair to punish children for something they cannot control, or to punish children for getting sick. That just seems to be the most cruel thing a school and an administration could do. It really burns me up. I posted about it on my Facebook page this morning, and most of you definitely seem to agree with me. You think it's outrageous. And like I said, I understand we can't protect our children from everything, and they do have to learn how to deal with disappointment or being left out or sadness. Jimmy said That's rough. Hope it makes them stronger. It did me. I agree. Leah said, preach. Thanks, Leah. By the way, Speaker Jason White released a new video on his X account and his Facebook page this morning, and it is such a great video. I urge all of you to go watch that. It is talking about parental rights, parents knowing their children best and having options, education freedom. That's his issue that he's just really passionate about and has put at the top of his priority list for this upcoming legislative session. I support that 100 million %. Jimmy also said, send your kid a pizza for lunch at school. Exactly. You know, when they did this incentive party the beginning of the year for the fundraiser, the raffle ticket sales, I kept my kids home that day on purpose because I knew that was happening. Now, this time, this incentive party that happened last week, I did not know that they were actually going to exclude children because they ended up letting them all wear their pajamas. They had a pajama day. And so I thought, well, surely if they are going to go ahead with some sort of party, they're going to include all the children. That was just a push to make sure parents tried to get their kids to school every day because they knew this count was coming. But no, I didn't know. And then my kids getting in the car telling me all about how they had to do work at their centers, which is their different tables they sit at for different subjects when you're in the lower grades of elementary. Very disappointed. Extremely frustrated and disappointed that that's happening within public schools. At least it is in Madison County. I don't know if every school is doing that, but I certainly know Madison Station is. And it's wrong, and it needs to stop. And I'm fired up about it, if you couldn't tell. Well, like I said, Friday, I hate that I was not here because there was some huge news, something that I really kind of thought would have happened before now already with our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., who I think is pretty incredible. But we saw the language and the wording on the CDC website change recently. It no longer states that vaccines do not cause autism. Instead, it says, basically, we haven't studied that. We don't know. Well, the CDC voted Friday to remove the recommendation that's been in place now at least 16 years, because I know that they gave my oldest Hep B at birth. They started to recommend Hep B, the Hep B vaccine at birth. I mean, literally the second the baby comes into the world, they want to inject them with whatever they can find to inject them with. Now, I don't know any newborn babies who are having unprotected sex or sharing dirty drug needles, which is the only way you can get hepatitis B unless it's passed from your mother to you in the womb or coming through the birth canal. Now, I think by the time a woman gives birth, they know whether she has hepatitis B or not. So I don't know where these babies are, these newborn babies that have found these dirty drug needles they're injecting themselves with or are able to engage in promiscuous sexual activity. I haven't met any of them. But the CDC has changed those guidelines. They no longer recommend the hepatitis B vaccine at birth. And all God's people said, amen. About time some common sense showed up at the CDC. Now, you should see the pro-vaxxers and these medical organizations who are losing their mind over this. They're furious. I guess maybe they know some of these babies that are promiscuous or using drugs. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to talk more about that. And also, at least half of Americans are unable to read on a 6th grade reading level. That's interesting. You would think everyone would be able to read really, really well since nobody's allowed to miss school these days. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on The Lindsay Beckham Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on The Lindsay Beckham Show.
.1039 WYAB.
Some of the best parts about being home for the holidays are sharing stories, sharing gifts, and sharing a slice of pizza you crave the most. Like the classic Pizza Kitchen from Johnny's Pizza House, topped with 11 legendary ingredients. It's the main course on everyone's wish list. Need a gift for that hard to buy person in your life? Get them a Johnny's Pizza House gift card and go from good friend to best friend. They may even end up sharing it with you. Share a slice of home this holiday season with Johnny's Pizza House.
Pure Air Consultants offers services on your heating and cooling system. It's time to get your heating system serviced. We offer replacement, service, maintenance agreements. It's important because if you have a gas heating system, it can produce carbon monoxide. So you want to make sure you have your system serviced and cleaned to protect your family. You want to make sure your system is safe to run. You can find us at our website at mypureairconsultants.com, mypureairconsultants.com.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
CBS News Brief. The Supreme Court heard a case today involving President Trump's move to oust a member of the Federal Trade Commission. Legal analyst Jessica Levinson says the case could expand presidential power over independent agencies.
It is this big separation of powers question. Who gets the power, the executive or Congress?
Willie James Inman reports President Trump will announce a $12 billion aid package for farmers hurt by tariffs and the trade war with China.
This is certainly a way that the administration is seeking to help those farmers and those communities that are hard hit by either the lack of purchases from foreign countries or elsewhere, or those low yield prices.
Paramount Skydance has made a $108 billion hostile takeover offer for all of Warner Brothers Discovery. That comes just 3 days after Netflix agreed to buy part of Warner Brothers. Paramount owns CBS. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
We all love the farm-to-table food concept, right? Well, at Burnt Corn Farm, they bring you locally grown flowers straight from the farm to the vase. With a wide selection of flowers and excellent service, Burnt Corn Farm will make your next party or shower a southern delight. Sign up for a monthly bouquet subscription, and their farm-fresh flowers will brighten your days all season long. You can also book your next family photo session in their wildflower field. That's Burnt Corn Farm on Facebook and Instagram.
Hi, this is Casey Holcomb with Mississippi Hometown Realty. This is the perfect weather for football and the perfect time to buy or sell a home. I have a passion for helping people achieve their real estate goals. So when you're ready to buy or sell, I want you to call me first, Casey Holcomb with Mississippi Hometown Realty. Visit mshomesforyou.com. That's mshomesforyou.com. I'm Casey Holcomb, doing what I love and loving what I do.
MS license number 51833 by phone 601-398-1620.
ABS causes mass hysteria by providing office tech that actually does its job.
Relax. At Advantage Business Systems, we know office technology isn't that exciting, but we do know it is life-changing. Work life-changing, that is. Because the latest copiers, printers, mailing machines, and even telephone systems can keep your office running smoothly. Visit absms.com. Advantage Business Systems, helping your business do business.
If you ever been stuck on the side of the road with engine trouble or because of an accident, you know how frustrating that can be. I'm Chad Stevens of Chad Stevens Wrecker Service. We'll help take some of the stress out of this stressful situation. We've been rated by AAA as one of the top 10 towing services in the entire USA. Why? Well, just ask our customers. So keep our number in your cell phones and call us if you need us. 662-755-8645. That's Chad Stevens Wrecker Service. 662-755-8645.
Hello, this is Richard Palmer, owner of the Mississippi Candy Company. I mean it when I say it. I want you to come in my shop, sample things if you've not had them, buy it if you like it, and maybe make a memory or two along the way with your loved ones. Looking for stocking stuffers this year? Create your own snackle box, which can include an array of over 100 gummy flavors. We carry many kinds of popcorn made fresh to order, caramel, dill pickled Chicago, which is a mix of caramel corn and cheddar. We also have flaming hot Cajun and garlic Parmesan. Find us just west of the Gluckstadt exit at 102 D's Drive.
Come together.
We are back here on the Lindsay Beckham Show on this Monday afternoon. We are coming to you live from the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. You can call into the show today, 601-879-0002, or the text line, which is 601-879-4648. We are discussing the vote made by the CDC this past Friday, where they have now retracted their recommendation that we give the hepatitis B vaccine to babies within the first 30 minutes of their life. Now, this vaccine that they claim is safe and effective, right? They wanted to give every single baby as soon as they enter the world, was studied in about 150 or so patients for 4 days. That was the safety study that was done. Some safety study, huh? I mean, what are the long-term effects? We don't know. We didn't look at that. We don't care. I have a friend whose vaccine-injured daughter was actually injured by this very vaccine that's so very safe and effective, they say. She suffered acute pancreatitis, jaundice of the hepatic origin. It was a vaccine that she did not need, and she was poisoned with aluminum, which we know to be a neurotoxin. Now, one hepatitis B vaccine that we give, or that we have been giving for years, babies within the first 30 minutes of their life, contains 250 micrograms of aluminum. Listen to this. You can't make this stuff up, people. Listen to this. That is 13 times the amount of aluminum that may be safely given via IV to an adult across a 24-hour period. Did you hear that? 13 times what an adult can get in an IV over a 24-hour period is given to a brand spanking new baby within the first 30 minutes of their life. And there are people who are outraged that the CDC no longer recommends giving this vaccine at birth. It's just wild. It's laughable at this point. Wake up, people. So we got that vote taken by the CDC on Friday. And shortly after, we also got a statement from President Donald Trump. And we got a memorandum on the White House website talking about the childhood vaccine recommendations, which states, in January 2025, the United States recommended vaccinating all children for 18 diseases, including COVID-19, making our country a high outlier in the number of vaccinations recommended for all children. Peer-developed countries recommend fewer childhood vaccinations. I hereby direct the Secretary of Health and Human Services and the Director of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention to review best practices from peer-developed countries for core childhood vaccination recommendations. Vaccines recommended for all children, and that the scientific evidence that informs those best practices, and if they determine that those best practices are superior to current domestic recommendations, update the United States core childhood vaccine schedule to align with such scientific evidence and best practices from peer-developed countries while persevering access to vaccines currently available to Americans. Thank you, President Trump. That's what I voted for, right there. Hallelujah. Finally, some common sense. He also posted or truthed out on Truth Social today. The CDC Vaccine Committee made a very good decision to end their hepatitis B vaccine recommendation for babies, the vast majority of whom are at no risk of hepatitis B, a disease that is most transmitted sexually or through dirty needles. The American childhood vaccine schedule long required 72 jabs for perfectly healthy babies, far more than any other country in the world and far more than is necessary. In fact, it is ridiculous. Many parents and scientists have been questioning the efficacy of the schedule, as have I. That is why I have just signed a presidential memorandum directing the Department of Health and Human Services to fast track a comprehensive evaluation of vaccine schedules from other countries around the world and better align the U.S. vaccine schedule so that it is finally rooted in the gold standard of science and common sense. I am fully confident Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the CDC will get this done quickly and correctly for our nation's children. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Maha. Maha. I have never been more proud to stand with a movement than I am the one what we call Maha. Make America healthy again. Make our children healthy again. Stop mandating ridiculous amounts of vaccines that we do not know to be safe just so that our children can go to school and get an education. It's the most absurd thing. And it just, President Trump is so right. It's common sense. It's absolutely and totally common sense. Obviously, a baby brand new to the world cannot handle that amount of aluminum. It's dangerous. And again, I know I've said this so many times. You're probably sick of hearing me talk about vaccines, but I just don't care because it is so important to me and people need to hear it. People need to understand that sometimes people tell you things because there's an incentive for them. Sometimes they don't even know what they're talking about. Vaccines have injured so many children. So many children. There is a system called VAERS, the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. Now, Harvard studied that system and they concluded that only about 1% of all vaccine injuries are actually reported to VAERS because most people figure, why even report it? Because of something I've talked about a whole lot on this show, the Act of 1986. Vaccine manufacturers cannot be held liable. That shows how much trust and faith they have in their product, right? They can't be held liable should you be injured by their so safe and effective vaccine. So all these vaccines are recommended by the CDC, 72, in fact, by the time you turn 18, with no double-blind placebo safety studies being done, outrageous amounts of aluminum, formaldehyde, thimerosal, mercury, aborted fetal cells. Yeah, all those things are in there. And we wonder why our children are sick, why they're sicker than they've ever been. Doesn't take rocket science, just takes a little bit of common sense. Just a little bit of common sense. We've seen autism rates soar to the point where 1 in 12, 1 in 14 boys in some states, like California, which has no religious exemption when it comes to vaccines, are being diagnosed on the spectrum with autism. And we wonder why. It's right there. It's right there in front of our faces. This is why. Thank goodness that this is something President Donald J. Trump has made a priority. Thank goodness for RFK Jr. for having a backbone and standing up for what he knows is right, no matter how much he's persecuted for it. Thank goodness for Dr. Peter McCullough and the members that RFK Jr. has appointed to the CDC, to these people who make these vaccine recommendations. It's about dang time. We got to take our last break, but stay with us. We will be right back here on the Lindsay Beckham Show. We're going to talk about how nobody can read these days. What happened? We'll be right back here on WIB 103.9. We'll be right back here on WIB 103.9.
WYAB.
Business owners, tired of drowning in payroll, compliance, and back office headaches? P-Police has your back. P-Police can free you from the never-ending grind of employee administration, such as time and attendance, onboarding, background checks, even business insurance. While you focus on growing your business, P-Police handles the paperwork. Stop stressing and start succeeding. Partner with P-Police, locally based in Ridgeland. Visit ppolice.com and get back to business.
A beautiful rug can freshen up any home or office, and there's no better place to shop for that perfect rug than the Rug Place. I'm Colleen O'Brien, owner of the Rug Place, and we have over 2,000 rugs in stock, all sizes, quality, and color. My trained staff can help you pick out that perfect rug. We even offer 48-hour in-home approval, so you can make sure that rug fits your space and style before you purchase. Quality workmanship and superb styling. The Rug Place, Lakeland Drive, next to Primo's, or therugplace.com.
Rug Place, always affordable.
Hey there, pizza lovers. It's time for family, fun, and mouth-watering moments. Get the taste of Johnny's Pizza House. Our gift cards are the ideal treat for those you love. Warm their hearts and their bellies this holiday season. Whether it's a family gathering or just a cozy winter evening, Johnny's Pizza House is always a hit. And who knows, they might even invite you over for a slice. Visit johnnysph.com/gift cards today. Gift memories, gift joy, gift Johnny's. Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice of joy.
At Bank of Yazoo, we believe that common sense makes for better banking. That's why we've taken our array of checking accounts and simplified them for you, boiling down features and benefits to create our New You, Achieve You, Benefit You, and Protect You checking accounts. Ready to discover how simple is better? Talk with us today. Bank of Yazoo, Bank of You. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
It can be hard to move past the guilt, times of weakness, and regret, knowing you weren't there for your family when they needed you the most. But there is life after addiction. We're seeing broken families restored, one man at a time, through our vehicle, cash, and thrift store donations. It's given Mercy House Adult and Teen Challenge the ability to help these men succeed in having better lives. Donate a vehicle, running or not, and we'll come pick it up. Call today, 601-572-7296, or visit us at vehicledonationsms.com.
I like my insurance like I like my burrito, with everything rolled into one. Was in a state of craving amigo, till my agent showed me how it's done. He wrapped up my auto, my home, and my life. The discounts I'm getting are great. Everything good right there on one plate. Get to a better state, State Farm.
To keep more of your money in your pocket, call John Dorsa at 978-2302.
When looking for an SUV that checks all the boxes, get to Mazda Jackson today and let this be the season where you drive away with a gift that gives back in a 2025 CX-5. Right now, enjoy special 2.9% financing for 63 months and see why it's a compact crossover that's built for you. And get 1-year maintenance included on your new vehicle purchase. Don't wait another minute. Shop online at MazdaJackson.com or visit Mazda Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road.
You often hear life referred to as running a race. The same can be said for financial planning and investing. Think of Wheeler Parker as your track coach to help you run your best financial life. Wheeler Parker provides decades of investment and wealth management strategy and experience in navigating life's hills, valleys, and curves, strictly from a financial perspective, of course. Life's a race. It takes money to run it well. And whether you're just out of the blocks or approaching the finish line, Wheeler Parker is here for the journey. Wheeler Parker, financial advisor, 601-607-7596.
Welcome back to the Lindsay Beckham Show. The last few minutes of the show today, but I did want to touch on this article that was shared by WLBT earlier. So studies are showing that more than half of Americans read below a 6th grade reading level. Experts are calling it a silent crisis that's costing the economy $2 trillion annually. They say that more than 50% of American adults read below the equivalent of a 6th grader, and the problem extends beyond individual struggles. People without strong reading skills struggle to find good paying jobs or any jobs at all. Studies show that if every single adult in America could read at a 6th grade level or higher, it would create more than $2 trillion a year in the U.S. gross domestic product. Obviously, there are some generational cycles. You can't really teach your kids to read if you don't know how to read. Local programs are showing success. We've seen a ton of success here in Mississippi in our education system. Our children are learning to read better than they have here in the state of Mississippi in years. We're doing something right. I know from a friend of mine who was telling me not too terribly long ago, she controls the company that she works for. She gets the people that come in and want applications for jobs. And she said she wasn't getting any of the applications back. And she started to wonder why. And the answer was because they couldn't read. They couldn't read or fill out the application because they didn't know what it was asking. They couldn't understand it and couldn't read it. That's a huge problem. It's also a problem when it comes to healthcare. If you can't read, then obviously you can't understand instructions on how to take care of yourself that a doctor's office may give you, or a prescription bottle, how it tells you to take your medicine that you may or may not need. I don't know how we go about completely fixing this problem or how it even got to this point, but it's obviously a very real problem and you wonder why I care so much about education, public education across the country, well, this is one of the reasons why. We are failing our students. We are not setting them up for success in the future. And this is one of the big, big problems that we have within the education system. I'll be here tomorrow with Morgan Charlie for Pour It Out Tuesdays, right here, coming to you from the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. Same time, same place. See y'all then. Thanks so much. Bye.